So while you listen to this mixtape, this motivational mixtape, you know, I want to bring it back to perspective that it's all about me exposing myself, becoming very vulnerable to you. You know, many of you don't know me. We're building a new relationship, and I'm putting my family business, my personal business, my most vulnerable moments in my life out for the public eye, out for scrutiny, out for however you may take it. But it's a small sacrifice to make for those who these stories could touch and can empower and can help add some motivation and help add some perspective to. Because no matter everything I've been through, this is my real life. This is not my fake life. This is not a skit or a movie or a playwright. This is my real life circumstance. This is my real what I experienced as a human being, what my heart went through, what my mind went through, the pain that I went through. And so I remember being probably 10, 11, maybe 12 years old, and Christmas time was coming. And, you know, we making our list, but, you know, we were told that we wouldn't be able to have the Christmas list that year of our choice. And remember getting a knock at our door at 4501 Schindler Terrace in a low-income housing apartment that we lived in. The great part about it, my mother was wise enough to move us to a suburb. Although we lived in a poor community in the suburb, we still were in the suburb, which was much better than the inner city environment. So we didn't suffer much crime, and we had actually a good school system, which I think aided to a lot of my success, my ability to communicate, the ability to write, ability to speak. But nevertheless, in this low-income housing complex in the suburbs, we get a knock on the door around Christmas time, and I answered the door as the oldest. And I'm probably about between 11 and 13 years old. I want to say about 11. And, you know, two white ladies came to the door with boxes for us, said, hey, we're from Goodwill. And, you know, we invited them upstairs. And that Christmas that year, our clothes came from the Goodwill agency, and our gifts came from the Goodwill agency. And that was like heartbreaking for me. The fact that, you know, it was one thing having the free lunch tickets in school. It was one thing to hide the food stamps when we went to the store with my friends. But now for Christmas, when everyone's sharing, you know, what they got for Christmas and the new sneakers and the new toys and new games and whatever, our entire Christmas came from Goodwill, came from hand-me-downs, came from, you know, other people blessing us with their extras. And so it was a really humbling experience to me, but all of this added into the fire for me to drive myself to be as successful as possible. But I think it also added to my compassion and my empathy for those who also come from struggle and those who don't have, those who go without. I know what you're going through. I know where you're at. I know what that feeling's like when you are the have-not, where you are the result, or you're the recipient of someone else's sympathy or empathy. And so all of these experiences, all these things got registered into my heart and into my 11 and 12-year-old mind. And all this was just fuel for me to know that to get that $1 million trillion, to get my mom out of this rough circumstance, to get my family to better, that I was going to have to do some things differently. That there was no excuses for me, it was just results. I knew where I wanted to go, and I knew what situation I was in. And I didn't know what my outlet was going to be. I didn't know how I was going to make this happen. I thought it was going to be basketball. But I knew I was willing to do anything to make this work for myself and for my family. And so I just want to say, for anybody that's come from struggle, or anyone that's privileged right now, and you have people with struggle around you, or you haven't given enough back, or you haven't made an assertive effort to understand other people's plights. Everybody's not born with the convenience or with the comfort that you're born with. There's people out there that's really struggling, that's really starving. And I'm not talking about even in foreign lands and other countries. I'm talking about right here in the United States of America. There's people that's going without food and without proper shelter, without proper clothes. And that's why I just think it's so important that we all have an attitude of goodwill and giving back. But those who are recipients of goodwill, it don't mean you gotta stay dependent on others. You can take that layup, you can take that blessing as a stepping stone towards you too becoming great one day, and putting yourself in a position where you one day can be the goodwill giver and not the goodwill recipient. And that's what I love about my life right now, is that I've been able to climb from the bottom through poverty, through prison, and be able to become prosperous. And it's made me. And I'm happy at the person, I'm happy with the person I became today. My peace of mind is at an utmost high because I know I'm living righteous and I'm living right. And And I hope that this motivates and inspires just any one of you today to do better than your situation, live better than your circumstance, and by all means, outwork the work.